Welcome in to Texas at the voice of college football. This is Texas Primetime. The college football playoff poll is out as well as the bracket. So we're going to be going through that today. We got a couple other topics we're going to talk about per usual. You guys can let us know in the comments below your thoughts on different things. If you have any questions or comments, we'll get to that towards the end of the live stream. B. Ross, how you feeling today, man? What are your initial thoughts here on the playoff rankings before we show the people?
I think they got it right. And like I'm talking about down to the T, like they got it right. And they did everyone justice. So at this point, everyone's fate is in their own hands. So, I mean, like we still have a shot. That's what I love.
100%. And as you guys can see, this is the college football playoff rankings right now. So at number one, Ohio State checks out. I mean, they haven't lost a game this year. They haven't really been tested outside of the Texas game. And even against Texas, they handled their business. They looked dominant throughout that game. So for me, no complaint there. I heard some people say that A&M should be number one. Maybe, but A&M has had struggles. Ohio State hasn't had a single struggle the entire year. So
yeah, but A&M has, to me, they have better quality wins.
True, I do agree, but they've been tested a bit more. They've had games like Ohio State crushed Washington. They handled Texas. I mean, they haven't really been challenged. They didn't have Indiana on their schedule. They didn't have Oregon on their schedule, so that's tough. We thought Penn State was going to be good. They're a total, calamity right now. So they handle business that versus them. Really, if you look at their schedule, their toughest games by end of season is going to be Michigan and Texas, which and that was a week one Texas who looks completely different now. And Michigan, they're in and out of the rankings every single week.
Right. So
yeah,
strength of schedule is not in their favor if they do lose.
Yeah, I mean, but they're probably not. I mean, unless Michigan's the only team that could beat them, and maybe they might. I mean, Michigan has a good track record, but outside of them, Indiana at number two, I kind of think they should be number one. I think, frankly, the only reason why they're not number one is because of the logo. But
I can see that.
I mean, Indiana hasn't really had challenges either. They've been so dominant this year, and they have beaten really good teams, and they beat Oregon comfortably. Yeah. They beat them comfortably. So, and then when you look at the two matchups between the teams that are the same, Indiana beat the teams that Ohio State beat a little bit more. Like look at the Illinois game; they killed them.
True.
I think Indiana should be number one, but I don't really have an issue with it. Third is A&M. I think they're probably the best team in the SEC at the moment. We'll see if Bama can get there. Got a stretch of some SEC teams. You got Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. I think it's fair. I think Bama has looked great since the Florida State loss. They were tested by South Carolina, but I think that was more of a game that, it was kind of a trap game they fell into, but they still got the win there. But they have some big wins on the year. Win over Tennessee. Win over Ole Miss. I mean, they've looked really good. So Bama at 4 really checks out for me. And then Georgia at 5. Georgia's Georgia. I mean, they can score points this year. So
they just find ways to keep winning.
They do.
They just find ways to close out games because they should have lost to Ole Miss, probably to Tennessee, but they know how to win. That team just find ways to keep winning.
Yeah, and then at number 6, you got Ole Miss. Ole Miss obviously is having a really good year this year. Some big-time wins on the schedule. Albeit they haven't really been tested a whole bunch this year. Their big wins are against LSU, and that's about it. I mean, their biggest win is against a bad LSU football team. Other than that, they lost to Georgia. They were up in that game. They frankly probably should have won it. They beat Oklahoma, so you got to give them that Oklahoma game. But, I mean, when you look at the end of their season, this is – honestly, one of the easiest SEC schedules you'll see out there because they only had Georgia and Oklahoma. Even if they lost both those games, the rest of their schedule is unranked teams. So even if you lose, they could have still made the playoffs. So
yeah,
Ole Miss.
Well, I don't know because I don't know if they would get rewarded for losing to a non-ranked SEC team. Not when you have Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M.
Let me ask you this though. So this is we're going to go off the path a little bit here, but let's say Ole Miss. Let's just say they lost to Oklahoma last week, right? So their 2 losses would be to their only ranked matchups versus Georgia and Oklahoma. Right. If they would have beat all the unranked teams and been 10-2, would you have a 10-2 Ole Miss with no ranked wins go into the playoffs, or a 9-3 Texas with their losses being Ohio State, Florida, and let's just hypothetically say Georgia?
So I'm going Texas because that means they beat Texas A&M.
True.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So
what if they lost to A&M but beat Georgia? That'd be different or same thing?
same thing.
Yeah, because
Honestly.
they beat the team that they lost to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Checks out for me. And then BYU at 7. I mean,
that's
it's tough. They beat a good Utah team. I'll give
they
them that.
did. They
They're
did.
gonna this week versus Texas Tech is gonna be
That's gonna be a big game. That's gonna be a huge game.
And frankly, even if they lose this game, I mean,
they'll drop maybe a couple spots.
Yeah,
Yep.
but their schedule is TCU, which is a good, it's a good ball club. Cincinnati's a good team, and then UCF. I mean, they have a chance to be a one-loss team and still find their way into the playoffs and in their championship game. So the Texas Tech is at 8. Those two teams are going to be right next to each other until the end of this week. We'll see which one pans out there. Oregon's got a dogfight versus Iowa this week, and I tell you what, I think Iowa has a chance in this one.
Iowa plays a brand of ball that it's very boring, but they play good football. That defense is really good year after year, and they've been running the same coverages for no lie, the same calls for 20 plus years, and they just find ways to win. If the offense can muster, if offense and special teams can muster anything, Oregon could be on upset alert for sure.
Yeah, and when you look at what Oregon's done this season, they have a win versus Oklahoma State, big time win, 69-3. Oklahoma State's been terrible this year. You lose to Indiana. They had the big overtime win against Penn State. I'll give them that one. I mean, a whiteout game. They were healthy. They still had swag and energy. Looking back on it, though, going to overtime against Penn State kind of looks bad. But then you had a weird, kind of slugfest game versus Wisconsin. They're a bad team. You got Iowa this week. You got Minnesota. You got USC, and you got Washington. If there's a team that could have a second half collapse, I think Oregon could be a team that has a tough stretch of their season. Not saying they're going to lose every game.
Yeah,
but they could lose 1 or 2 games. I think that's a total possibility.
I can see that. I mean, when you look at their schedule, that's it's more than possible.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going up against top 5 teams, but these are all scrappy teams that do things differently. Like Minnesota, they're not a bad football team. They can put a fight up.
USC,
you look at USC,
a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and then Iowa too. I mean, and then Washington. I mean, these are all different styles too. They beat you in different ways. So Oregon's in a tough spot here. I was a little surprised to see Notre Dame in front of Texas because
I wasn't.
Well, let me rephrase that. I wasn't either, but I think Texas should be in front of them. That's my personal opinion because their 2 losses are to A&M and Miami.
Yeah,
2 ranked teams, but they haven't beat nobody. I mean, they beat. Was it USC? They beat last week. It's a good win. But
I mean,
Texas's loss is to number 1 Ohio State and Florida, but they have wins versus Oklahoma, who's ranked 12th, and Vanderbilt, who's ranked 16th.
True.
I know they had the 2 overtime games, but
true.
I'm not surprised the committee favored Notre Dame, though, because I do think Notre Dame right now is a better team than Texas. But when you look at the resume, I think the resume speaks. One of the key differences in the AP poll and this poll is that AP poll has Oklahoma ranked 2 spots ahead of Texas, which makes no sense at all to me because Texas blew them out of the waters. In the college football playoff poll, though, I like this one a lot better, having Texas ranked 1 spot ahead of Oklahoma. Respect the head-to-head.
Yeah.
I mean, look, after the Texas game, we were like, man, OU is going to be a bad football team, but they've rebounded actually really nice since the Texas loss. I mean, they haven't won every game, but you look at what they've done since Texas, beat up on South Carolina, had a really close game versus Ole Miss, and then they beat Tennessee. And you look at their schedule, they got Bama this week. Or not this week, they got Bama next week. That's going to be a huge game for them. If they can beat Bama, I mean, Oklahoma's in the exact same spot as Texas right now. They're in basically the exact same spot. 2 losses with a tough schedule down the stretch, but you win out, you're in the playoffs.
If they beat so ultimately, and this sounds crazy saying out loud, as a Texas fan, you're actually cheering for Oklahoma.
Oh, 100% you are. 100% you are.
Because they can knock off some of those top teams out of your way and give us room for a loss versus Georgia or Texas A&M.
And what'll be very interesting, if Oklahoma does beat Bama, and let's say Texas wins out, they would both have a win over Georgia. They would both have an ugly loss. They to Florida State, us to Florida. But we have that head-to-head matchup with Oklahoma where we won and they lost.
Ooh,
That would make for a really interesting scenario if Bama were to lose that one. So huge game. You got Utah then at 13. Utah kind of been, steady, but they haven't been able to knock off the higher upper echelon teams. They had a huge win over Cincinnati, but you lose to BYU super late in that one, and then you also lost to Texas Tech. So they're a good team, though. They're clearly a good football
looking
team.
in.
Yeah. And they don't really have a tough schedule the rest of the way. They got Baylor, they got Kansas State, and Kansas. Those are all scrappy Big 12 teams, but they're not nothing to scoff at. But they're not there yet. Virginia at 14. Look, they have a chance in that conference.
They do.
And when you look at their schedule, Virginia has Wake Forest, Duke, and then Virginia Tech. So, there's some tough matchups there.
That Duke game is going to be interesting because that quarterback at Duke, he can play.
Yeah. What's his name?
Transfer from Tulane.
Yeah.
I cannot think of his name.
Darian Mensah. Yeah, he can play. He had 4 touchdowns versus Clemson. Yeah, he can play a little bit.
It'll be interesting though, because if Virginia and Louisville, if they drop games here and there, then what does that do for Georgia Tech, Miami in terms of getting back into the top 15? It's again, like I said, everybody's in their own destiny outside of probably Miami and teams like USC and Missouri. They need help, but everybody in top 15, hey, it is totally in your control. Winning, you're in, baby.
I agree. I mean, if Iowa gets the win versus Oregon, they're now in the conversation. If USC can pick up a few more wins, some of the teams though towards the bottom, if Tennessee wins out, they're a 3-loss team. I'm a little surprised Tennessee's still ranked. Michigan,
only because of who their losses are to.
True, their losses are all against really good ranked football teams. Oklahoma, Bama, Georgia.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's a gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, give them their flowers. Yeah. Michigan at 21 is interesting. They're a 2-loss team, and they have who they have upcoming. They have Northwestern. That's a good team, but I think Michigan can win that one. You got Maryland. That's a good football team, but I think you can win it. If they can win the next 2, that Ohio State-Michigan game is a potential jumping pad for them to get into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And because they're only their 2 losses were Oklahoma and who else?
That's a great question. Let me look. Michigan's losses, Oklahoma, and they have they've beat USC. They had a bad loss to USC.
Yeah.
But they've been so up and down this year though. They had a huge win versus Washington.
They look like us.
Big win versus Nebraska, kind of, yeah. But I mean, they have more of an excuse. They have a rookie quarterback, a freshman guy. So,
right. But when you look at it on just week to week, you don't know which Michigan teams are going to show up. You don't know which defense is going to show up. Again, much like us. So again, but I do know they have Ohio State's number.
They do.
And I want to say the game is in Michigan this year.
It is. Oh, yeah, it's at Michigan. Oh, man, that place will be buzzing.
Man, and that's a hard place to play. And, everyone knows Ryan Day's struggle versus Michigan. That just lingers over his head.
Yeah.
Just lingers.
Well, one thing about Michigan, you never know what outfit Sherrod Moore is going to go to the post-game conference with. He might put on that. That was one of the corniest things I've ever seen a coach do. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Other than that, though, look.
Recruits.
Yeah, well, they're try their best, but when you look at the rest of the schedule, I mean, look, Texas at number 11. Texas in a really good spot. There's a lot of teams with the inside track to potentially jump Texas, but if Texas beats Georgia and A&M, they will be in the playoffs. I think we can all say that pretty comfortably here.
No doubt.
This is the first of the polls. I would not be surprised if by the time we get to the very last one, it looks completely
totally
different. And I would not be surprised if one of these teams from 16 to 25, maybe not 25, 16 to 24, jump their way in to the playoffs. I think that's a total possibility. So, let us know down below, everybody. What are your thoughts on the first college football playoff rankings? Let us know.
That's going to be interesting.
All right, we're going to jump over now let's talk about the college football bracket and do some little predictions to talk about right now what we're looking at in terms of what could be the national championship. Here is the current playoff bracket. So at number 8, you got Texas Tech versus Oregon. 5, you got Memphis versus Georgia. 7, BYU versus Notre Dame. 6, Ole Miss versus Virginia. B-Ross, let's start off on the top left. Texas Tech going against Oregon. Really, honestly, this might be the best game of the first round, honestly.
No doubt about it. Like, Texas Tech is a good football team. If they're healthy, I think they beat Oregon. But because they get to host that game. They're the lower seed.
Is their quarterback going to be healthy for that game, though?
I don't know. That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, everything is around, is he healthy? If he's healthy, I like that Texas Tech football team.
Let's say he doesn't play.
Texas Tech loses probably 7 to 10 points.
Interesting. Okay, so we're gonna have Oregon moving on now. Oregon would then face Ohio State, so huge Big Ten matchup. Let's go to the bottom left: Georgia versus Memphis.
So I've seen the big issue is Memphis defense is trash, but that offense can score points. And Georgia's defense is not what Georgia's defense is not like what they were in the past. So it'll be a closer game than what people think, but Georgia will still win.
Thing about Memphis, they do not have a single ranked win, except they have a win versus USF, which is a really good win because USF has some good wins on their resume. But they have Navy at the end of the season too. That's going to help them, and Tulane this week. So those are all pretty good teams. So
big game.
I also think Georgia wins here. I think Georgia's just more talented. I mean, it's kind of like Penn State versus SMU. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, where could be a scrappy game, could be a fun game, but one team's just more talented. All right, we got BYU with their freshman quarterback and going up against Notre Dame with Carr. I think Notre Dame wins this one. I just think they're the better football team.
That defense,
I like BYU.
Is going to give them problems. That defense is going to give BYU problems.
BYU so far this season, they got a few. They have a test this week versus Texas Tech that you're going to figure out a lot about this BYU football team. But they got some big time wins this year. Winner versus Iowa State, win versus Utah, beat Arizona in overtime. This is not a bad team. Beat Colorado, although Colorado's kind of fallen off a cliff. But BYU, they're a scrappy team. But I also think Notre Dame would win this one. And that would set up Notre Dame versus Indiana, which I think is very fun, very interesting.
That'd be a great game.
Next, we have Ole Miss versus Virginia. Virginia, I obviously will be the underdogs in this game, but I don't think anyone should count out Virginia necessarily. They're a good, scrappy football team. Their best win is versus Louisville, an overtime game where they won 30-27. Their one loss is versus NC State. Other than that, though, win versus Florida State, win versus Washington State, win versus Cal, UNC, Louisville. And their schedule is really easy. I mean, they have Duke with Mensa. That's going to be tough. And Virginia Tech. Never an easy game, but they look like they have a chance here to win out. So, Ole Miss versus Virginia.
Like, I want to say Ole Miss just because, but like, some's telling me, like, this would be the upset. Like, I can see this being an upset just because I don't trust Ole Miss. I just don't trust that.
I don't either. I mean, I don't blame you.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I sit there and when you look at it on paper, Ole Miss is probably more talented, but Virginia to me is going to find a way to win that game. Like, they're more scrappy and tougher. But so I would pick an upset in that game.
Interesting. Ole Miss so far this year, their best win is versus Oklahoma. Other than that, they have a loss to Georgia. They have a win versus LSU, but LSU's not who we thought they were at the time. Other than that, though, they've had some scraps. They had a close game versus Washington State, a close game versus Kentucky, close game versus Arkansas, and they handled business versus South Carolina. The rest of the way, they got Citadel. They should handle that one. Florida, I think Florida could give them a run for their money. I think Florida's talented. Florida's
playing with new energy.
They are. They're playing with some newfound energy. And then they got Mississippi State to end the season off. That's not a gimme game. So
no, it's not.
Interesting.
And truthfully, I don't think Ole Miss is going to be in this picture.
You think they're going to lose one of those?
I definitely think they're going to lose one of them.
Interesting. Do you think now and we're a Texas channel, so we'll bring it back to Texas. A 2-loss Ole Miss versus a 3-loss Texas, who gets in?
We do.
You think they would put us in over them?
They don't have any quality wins.
Oklahoma.
Closer game than ours.
True.
You know what
I
I
think
mean?
it would
Like,
depend it would depend who we lose to me.
Yes. Like, we can't lose to Arkansas.
No. If you lose to Arkansas,
Right?
that means you beat Georgia and A&M though.
Oh. Which then means we beat the team that they lost to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's tough.
So like their saving grace is for us to lose to Georgia the same way they did.
Yeah.
Or to get blown out by Georgia.
Well, if they were to beat Texas would want them to lose to Florida because we also lost to Florida as well.
Right. Right.
Because if they beat Florida, they can use that argument. So
pretty interesting. This weekend, right?
They play Citadel this week. They versus Florida November 15th. So next week.
Got you.
We got Virginia moving on though. So in the second round, you'd have Ohio State, Oregon. Boy, rematch of last year. I think Ohio State's just as talented as what they were last year. I don't know if Oregon's as talented as what they were last year, though they're very, very good.
No, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick against that Ohio State team because that defense is real. Like, I don't think they have any holes on that defense. Like,
I agree.
They got pro talent on all three levels. So I mean, I'm going to pick Ohio State to beat Oregon. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think Oregon wins. I mean, I do think Ohio State wins. Yeah.
All right, then we got Georgia, Bama. Could potentially be the SEC championship. So this could be their third time meeting up with each other.
Georgia, Bama. I'm taking Bama. I do not trust that Georgia defense. Like, not even a little bit. I do not trust them.
I could see it being a scenario where Bama beat them in the regular season. Georgia wins the SEC championship, which would pain me, but I think they could. And then you get that trilogy, and I think Bama could win it too. I definitely think Bama has a shot there.
Yeah, I just don't trust Georgia's defense. It's something worrisome about Kirby Smart having a defense that bad.
Yeah. All right, then you got Indiana going up against Notre Dame. Oof, fun game.
This would be a good game.
I think Indiana's
really good game.
Like really good this year. I think Indiana will win this game.
I think this would be a low-scoring game, but yeah, low-scoring and close. I'm talking about like 20-17 type game.
Who you got? You got Indiana?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me too. All right, A&M versus Virginia.
I'm thinking A&M.
Yeah.
They have too many weapons. They have way too many weapons.
Now, let me ask you, just based off this, if this is what the playoff were to be, who would win in terms of like which team would feel the best about their side of the bracket? Because right now I'm looking at it. Indiana with Notre Dame, BYU would feel good. I honestly think A&M would feel really good.
I don't
because
know.
Ole Miss and Virginia I think A&M beats them both comfortably.
True.
And then you look on the other half, because then you're avoiding Bama, Georgia,
I don't know if
Oregon, and Ohio State.
I don't know if they beat Ole Miss comfortably.
I think they would. Because they're both two teams that they kind of are similar in some ways.
They are.
They got speed. They got an athletic quarterback. Great offensive minds. Well, I mean, not really for A&M. Elko's more balanced, but I think A&M, man. I like A&M this year. I like them. I think they're a balanced team. I would say A&M wins.
I don't trust the quarterback. So
Reed is up and down, but he's got the weapons to surround him.
He does. He does, and that helps always. I just think versus better teams or in critical moments, he's gonna break your heart.
I would much rather be on the right side of this bracket more so than the left side.
100%.
Left side, outside of Memphis,
left is more balanced.
Like that's tough.
Like you have better quarterback play on the left side as well.
Yeah, I agree. So then we'd have Ohio State versus Bama, Indiana versus A&M. So who you got? Ohio State versus Bama. Who do you got?
I would go to Ohio State. Bama can't run the ball.
I agree.
Make
them one-dimensional. You got Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, all those pass rushers. Can't run it. It's tough.
Yeah, if you can't run the ball versus a dominant defense, like in any capacity, like the most rushing yards they've given up all year was versus Texas.
Yeah.
And like Texas wasn't really like that great at running it. Like we averaged
And
like
that it's week
3.5
one.
yards.
Yeah, it was week
Yeah,
one.
and that was week 1.
Yeah.
So and Bama doesn't like they have no inkling of a running game. So
They don't.
I think Ohio State like handles. I don't say they handle them easily, but I do think they win by double digits.
Would be a fun matchup. Ohio State, Bama. I also think Ohio State wins. Indiana, A&M. I lean Indiana.
Yeah, me too.
I just think they're a more balanced team.
I
trust
think
their quarterback.
Indiana is one of the more complete football teams.
Surprisingly, I agree 100%.
If that makes sense. Like
they don't really have a flaw.
No, but they just don't have the big names of Ohio State. But like when you look at them on tape, they do everything well. They're a good tackling football team. They're tough. They can cover. They can stop the run. They can run the ball surprisingly well. Like they don't have to throw the ball. Mendoza can be a game manager if need be, or he can go out there and slice you up. It's very similar with Julian saying. Julian saying not do anything special. You got 2 special receivers. Just put the ball in the vicinity. They do the rest. And so I'm think Indiana handles A&M and we get a Big Ten national championship.
Now, what would be interesting is Ohio State and Indiana might go to the Big Ten championship together, and they might face off there. I think there's a world where let's say A&M loses a game at some point. Maybe they lose the SEC championship. Let's say the SEC does not have an undefeated team. I think there's a world where Ohio State, Indiana, regardless of how the Big Ten championship goes, assuming it's a close game, I think they could still be the 1 and 2.
I have a hard time believing they won't be because I don't think Texas A&M finishes undefeated.
No, I don't either.
And they're the last undefeated team.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. Like it would not surprise me to see them play in the Big Ten championship, and then depending on how that game goes, will tell me how a rematch goes.
So how do you think this one would go? If you were to predict it right now, Ohio State, Indiana, who do you think would win? My money would be on Ohio State.
I would actually go with Indiana.
I don't blame you. I would.
Because I think that, and you give him 2 weeks to prepare for all that talent. Like you give him 2, and like he's a hell of a coach. Like people don't understand how good of a coach this dude really is, man. Like,
and I like Mendoza more than Sand. So,
right. So when you talk about quarterback play, I think, and I like Cignetti better than Day. I think Day is the benefit of playing, having elite talent. Like he has 2 top 5 picks, or probably 3, because Reese could be definitely in the conversation depending on where somebody played.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like he has that kind of talent. Cignetti doesn't, and he's whooping ass and taking names.
All right, y'all. We both think. Well, I think Ohio State. He goes Indiana, but regardless, we got the Big Ten guys. Let us know in the comment section below. Who do you think is winning if this is the bracket? Let us know down below. All right, really quickly, we're going to take a detour from the college football playoff rankings and talk about the 2026 NFL draft. We're going to keep this kind of short and sweet, keep this to about 10 minutes or so. Texas has a number of guys that are on the roster today that might not be on the team next year because they might be entering in the draft. I think we should start off at the very top. Anthony Hill, who I think is probably a round 1 to early round 2 lock. I think he does go pro.
He should.
One of the best players on Texas's team. B-Ross, where do you think he best fits in terms of a team in the NFL, and what do you think his draft stock would look like?
Yeah, so I can see him going.
I like the Colts. I think the Colts are great for him.
Yeah, but and you know
they don't have a first. They just trade for Sauce.
They traded their first away, so
it's gonna be tough to get him.
It'd be real tough to get him. But because their second would be so late, teams are not going to let that dude fall. You know what I mean? He's not falling to the end of the second round.
He won't fall that. No. I also think about Anthony Hill. I also think there's going to be teams that will convince themselves they can put him as an outside linebacker, and I think he could work there.
That wouldn't surprise me, but that means he's not going. I don't think he goes that high then.
No, but I could. I'm not saying he would go there full time, but I think he could definitely be. Because when you look at like Micah Parsons, for example, Micah Parsons, different player than Anthony Hill in a lot of ways, but Micah was a middle linebacker, inside linebacker. Dallas needed an edge rusher. He had the size, and with the way that Anthony Hill can get after the quarterback, I think that there will be teams that could convince themselves that he has some extra versatility to him. So I think Dallas would be a great spot for him.
Oh God, no! I would hate to see him in that star.
Him and DeMarvion Overshown, Texas duo, just straight up Logan Wilson too. I would love it.
I mean, you're a Cowboys fan, so of course you would love it. I would hate that for him because every linebacker they get does not pan out the way they should. So
yeah, they get injured
every time. So
Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen,
Sean Lee,
Overshown,
go down the list. I would love to see him go somewhere like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they could use somebody next to Patrick Queen. Oh, they got Peyton Wilson too, but Patrick Queen hasn't been.
Patrick Queen has not been playing well.
I like Arizona as well. Arizona needs one.
Ooh, I can see that.
And they could be in range as sort of like the middle of the pack, 10 to 15 range. They could be that early, maybe somewhere in the second round too.
If he goes and tests how I think he's going to test, he's going first round.
Now let me ask you, how fast do you think he's going to run his 40? I'm thinking 4.57, 4.58.
I think he's gonna run a little bit faster than that.
Low 4.5s, you think?
Yeah.
If he runs a low 4.5,
I would set the line at 4.55.
Yeah,
take the over to under.
That'd be a great time for him. I mean, that'd be a really good time for him. So because he's a bigger dude. I mean, he's not like a skinnier. I would say he's just as big as like a Micah Parsons. I mean, he's not as strong as Micah, but like when Micah came out of Penn State, he's about the same size as him.
They're similar.
Yeah.
They're similar. I think Anthony has like longer limbs, just like he's a longer human being. And Michael was a little bit more dense in his upper body, but very, very similar.
So the next one that I'm looking at, it'd be a conversation between Manny Muhammad and Trevor Gooseby. Now,
who do you think?
We'll talk Gooseby first because I think Gooseby returns to college.
Ooh, really?
I think he's a round one talent that's just not there yet. Yeah. I think he needs one more year of development. And so I think he would ask his management, whatever, to say, hey, what's my stock right now? They'd probably say somewhere day 2. And then he'll be like, well, if I return to college, play another year with Sark, get better.
Top 20, top 15.
I think he could be but I also will say this is a really weak offensive line class. And if he has a good end to the season, I do think Gooseby has a chance to go late round 1. I do think it's a possibility.
Fair, because the tackle class is not that deep.
It's not.
And he does have talent. To your point, a team knows that he's maybe a year or 2 away.
Yeah. And that would make him a really good late first round pick. I mean, he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's strong.
Those are the exact guys you take that late, where they're going to play, but you kind of know what you're going to get. So if he plays any better, it's a win.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Josh Simmons came out last year. A lot of talent coming off the injury, a little bit raw, but if you can get him late round 1, develop him or start him, let him develop on the fly, and he's been pretty good for the Chiefs. So I think if Gooseby went pro, I would say he's probably number 2, and then I would say Manny Muhammad's our 3rd player off the board. And I don't think Muhammad goes round 3 or round 1. I think he probably goes round 3. That's where I would have him at right now.
Yeah, he will probably go late 3, early 4. Unless he goes and just like tests like spectacularly well. Because one, he hasn't been playing his best ball as of late.
Yeah, the past like 2 games have been.
Yeah, like he's put some bad stuff on film, so he's going to have to clean some stuff up, get some stuff off his tape, and like really and truthfully, like his money making game is going to be Texas A&M. How he plays versus them, will tell teams a lot, because then it's going to be a matter of like, as a scout, I would say, okay, this was his rough patch, but is this who he is? And like, we just didn't see it early because the talent wasn't as good, and like he wasn't tested as much, because versus Florida, they really didn't test him the way they did the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the big yards, big plays came opposite of him. So, I look at the Texas A&M game to say like, okay, these are like real dudes. How does he hold up versus them? That would be like, that's gonna be a big game for him. I mean, for the team, of course, but like for him personally, for his draft stock, big game.
I 100% agree. I think he has length. He's got size. He's put some good tape out on film, especially early in the season. But yeah, speed gets him, and he gets a chance to kind of say, you know what, I go against A&M and they got speed, or Zachariah Branch for Georgia, they got speed there too. So that'll be interesting to see there. I think he could work his way into a late round 2, but I do agree with you. I think he's probably right now somewhere round 3 to 4, but unless he can really do a great job to end the season, which we'll have to wait and see. Next one for me.
Who you got?
Oh boy.
Because honestly, I think a lot of guys come back, and then the other guys who are coming out, I don't think they go that high.
I would,
if at all.
Jelani McDonald would maybe be the next one, because he's got size, length, athleticism, and he's had some really good tape this year.
He's going to be, I think he goes in the same range.
I do too. I think he goes somewhere early day 3 would be my guess.
Yeah.
Maybe we were wrong, but I hope he comes back for starters, because Texas really could use a veteran safety in that room.
I would love that for him, because I think
he could take over.
He can go day 2. Like I think he can be a solidified day 2 pick and maybe test or play his way into like late day 1, because like the only thing he doesn't have consistently is just interceptions, and like his ball skills are like they're not, like he can find the ball. He doesn't just finish plays.
Yeah, he's got the size, 6'2", a little over 200. He's got the length. He's got good film. Maybe he just needs more game-changing plays to get himself into bigger conversations. So we'll see. I think if Jelani goes pro, I think he'd probably be the next one. And then I would go probably Michael Taft. And Taft's not going to test out of the waters, but he's such a smart, good player.
I'm gonna tell you this: Taft might mess around and have the longest career out of everyone that we've talked about.
I would not be surprised.
I can see it. Just like, guys like that always do.
His issue for me is going to be just the size profile translating to the NFL, because it reminds me of who's the Bills safety?
Hamlin, Rapp.
Rapp, yeah, because Rapp is not Rapp. Hold on, let me look.
Bishop from Utah.
It might be Bishop.
BYU, I think. One of the two.
I think it'd be Bishop. Let me see. Yeah, because no, not Bishop. Bishop has a bit more size to him. Jordan Poyer is who I was thinking of. Jordan Poyer. Somebody who made a lot of plays in his career, but really was not this super. He was a 7th round pick in 2013, but has played for years and years because he's a freaking smart player that can make plays in the backfield. He's not going to test out of the waters. He's not going to be this and that. I just think Taft is not going to go high because he's just not going to test out of the water. He's only 6 foot. He probably might be more like 5'11". He has a ton of great plays on film, but he's not going to run like a 4.3 or anything like that. And there's going to be guys. And the thing is, too, in the draft, around that day 3, you're looking for intangibles. You're looking for elite traits. And unfortunately, in the NFL, a lot of teams don't value geniuses, right? They value supreme athletes, guys with elite size, guys that can cover the field, guys that maybe are really excellent in man coverage, that sort of stuff. Taft might be one of the smartest guys out there, though.
If as long as he doesn't run over anything over 4.6, he'll go like 5th round. Because he's going to interview himself into a team falling in love with him. That's what he's going to do.
What ends up happening every single year is you get guys like R.J. Mickens, really good player for Clemson for all those years.
Yep.
And he gets drafted in the NFL. I think he's now with the Chargers, and he's a good player for them. And he probably should not have gone as late as he did in the NFL draft. So Taft, I do think he could be somebody that has a long career in the NFL. The next one for me, Ethan Burke, because I think Wisner returns to college ultimately.
I can see that, because this is a deep running back class.
It is.
This is a deep running back class. Like
it really depends on how he ends the season. For me, if he has a really good end to this season and then he tests well, I could see him going pro. For me right now, it's Ethan Burke. I think DeAndre Moore. Moore is interesting. I think Moore could go pro, or frankly, I think Moore could transfer as well.
Oh,
so it's tough to gauge DeAndre Moore because I don't know if he goes pro. I think he just.
Do you think he'll transfer though?
Because Wingo's here, Livingstone's here, Emmett Mosley's going to be back next year. Dalen McCutcheon's already kind of working a role in it for himself. and you have these 2 5-stars on your bench you want to get reps on with Khalil Clark and Jamie French. It's I think he might be out the door. I didn't mention DJ Campbell. I do think DJ Campbell would probably be the next one after Taft.
Taft.
In fact, I think DJ Campbell, if he tests well, I think he can go a little bit higher than Taft and even maybe Gelati. Because he's got the size, and people are going to value that he was a starting guard for Texas for 3 years.
I'd be interested to see how he measures.
That's going to be the big thing. He's not very lengthy.
No.
But he's put some good film out, especially this year. He's been really good for Texas. I mean, besides some penalties in the first half. But for me, I just look at it and I say offensive linemen are a premium, and you get a starting guard that's been on Texas for 3 years, starting for Texas for 3 years.
You get experience, you
know, because he's not going to go higher than Hill, Muhammad, or even if Gooseby were to go pro, he wouldn't go higher than him.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised if he went like 160th, 180th, if he tests well. He's a big dude, but he's just not tall or lengthy. That's his only issue.
All. Nope.
So it'll be interesting. Yeah, DeAndre Moore, I don't know if he goes. If he does go, because I actually saw a list that had him ranked as a top 10 receiver in the class. I thought that was quite interesting. And I could kind of see why. He's got good size, good hands.
Based on size and talent, like he has talent. It hasn't translated into like production.
People are going to fall in love with him because he could play on special teams too. So if he went pro, I think he would get drafted, and he'd be a really good special teams player. Ethan Burke, I think he's working himself into potentially getting drafted fairly high. I'm talking 6th round pick, maybe late 5th. I think Burke has a role in the NFL because we kind of saw it last year with went to the Packers. Your guy, the edge,
Baron Sorrell.
Yeah, Baron Sorrell, because Sorrell was not like this really high, touted prospect, but he actually went pretty early compared to what we thought he was going to go.
He went 5th round.
Yeah, and I thought he went 4th.
5th.
Yeah, okay, 5th. I think Burke could kind of work his way into that same conversation where he is I don't think he goes 5th, but maybe a 6th round pick.
Yeah, like some team is going to fall in love with him, but like for the same reasons of Michael Taft. Like coaches are a coach on defense is going to fall in love with them because of how he interviews and the fact that he's coachable, and what you're getting. Like this isn't a bet. Like this isn't risky. No matter where you take him, like this isn't risky. So to me, it's just a safe draft pick to say he's going to make your team. He's going to play on your team for 7 to 8 years, probably have a 10, 11-year career.
Yeah, and he's got great length. He's 6'6", 250, 260. I think he'd be a plus in run support.
He's just not overly explosive or twitchy or anything like that, but that's not how he wins. So he plays within himself, understands who he is as a pass rusher, and he's productive. Like, he's going to make for a good rotational pass rusher in the NFL.
Next one for me, do you think Trey Moore gets drafted, or do you think he's a UDFA? I think
he gets drafted.
He could. My question is he a inside? Is he a linebacker or outside linebacker, or is he an edge?
That's why I think he gets drafted, because whichever way a team sees him, he can do both. So like what they probably do is they start him at backer, because you don't rarely do guys start on the edge and then move back to backer. Usually you start outside in. You start at safety, you're not good there, you move to linebacker. You're not good at linebacker, you move to DN. So I think he probably starts at inside backer. Like teams will let him fail there. But I think because of like he has done it, but it's his first year really doing it. Like being stacked, some teams going to fall in love with the fact that he's still kind of green to the position. So he's unmolded clay. Like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing yet. And this is what he's putting on tape. Watch this. So
you think it's 6th or 7th?
Honestly, it depends on how he tests.
Because all it takes is one team that really falls in love with him.
That's it. Yeah. And they'll take him early day 3.
Now there's a few other guys. Cole Brevard, I probably late to undrafted.
Yep.
If you're just looking for a big run stuffer, Cole Hudson, I just don't think he has NFL upside. I'd probably go UDFA.
Yep.
Jack Andrews, I think, will return to Texas or maybe
Yeah.
transfer, but I think he'll be in college again next year because he's having a really he's playing better these past few weeks, or they're starting to target him a little bit more.
Right.
It's not a great tight end class, but I don't think
he wasn't what he was at Cal. So I think he'll come back to school.
I agree. CJ Baxter is probably going to return, just has not been able to stay healthy. Other than that, I mean, that's it. So right now we're looking at Anthony Hill, probably round 1, round 2, Manny Muhammad, round 2, 3, 4, probably more 3 or 4 range. Jelani McDonald, probably around that same range. Taff, 4 or 5. If Gooseby goes pro, late first, somewhere in the second, I think that's where he would go. Campbell,
that's going to be an interesting one.
6th, 7th. Who Gooseby. I hope he returns. I think he should return, by the way. 100%.
I mean,
should.
Honestly, a lot of these dudes should return because you're getting paid. The NFL's not going anywhere.
I agree.
Nowhere.
I think DeAndre Moore does get drafted. I don't know where, though. Probably late day, somewhere day 3. Special teams. People will fall in love with his blocking ability for fitting the slot. Cole Hudson, UDFA. DJ Campbell, somewhere on day 3. Gilbo, UDFA.
Yep.
Unless the team wants to move him over to safety and work with him there, but I don't think that's going to happen. Jelani, we talked about him. Leonga Lafau, do you think he goes or do you think he returns? I think he returns.
I think he goes back. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Trey Moore probably goes somewhere day 3. We didn't talk Brad Spence, but I think he also returns too. So
him and Trey Moore are one and the same to me, just in terms of because they have put it on tape what they can do. Now it's a matter of where do teams see him, but I do think Brad Spence goes back because he has a lot of he has a lot of good college football left in him.
Interesting. All right, y'all. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you think about this year's 2026 class? How many get drafted and how many don't? Ooh. All right. Last little topic we're going to talk about. So the college football playoff rankings are officially out. Texas fans want to know, who should Texas be rooting for in terms of Texas, a 2-loss team? If they were to lose one more time, or let's just say they win out. I think if we win out, you're probably in it for sure.
Yep.
Who is Texas actively wanting to lose football games? I'll give you a quick one real quick. You want Michigan to lose versus Ohio State. Because if Michigan wins that game and they win out, Michigan's going to have be a 2-loss football team with a win versus Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I think Michigan would jump Texas if they have that win versus Ohio State. If Texas was a 9-3 football team.
If they're 9-3, yes.
If Texas is 10-2, they will still be in front because they'll have big wins versus Georgia and A&M. But if Texas is 9-3 and wants to somehow make it as a 12 seed, Michigan has to lose that game. So I'll start off with Michigan. Who would be a team for you want to see lose?
To see lose? Ole Miss. Ole Miss has to lose. Ole Miss.
Ideally, Florida.
Because honestly, it's about the seeding more so than anything. You don't want to be 11 where then you go 11 and you play whoever, because the next game you're playing number 1 Ohio State.
Yeah, if you're 11, you're going against Ole Miss right now. But if you end up as a 12th, you're going against Georgia or Bama.
Right. Yeah, it's you don't want to start like that. That's tough for anybody.
A team that Texas fans probably want to see win is Oklahoma because they got Bama next week.
Have to see it. And I know it sucks rooting for a heated rival, but we need them to beat Bama so Bama can have a second loss. And granted, we have to take care of our stuff too, but we need Oklahoma to take care of business and knock some teams out. But the only issue with that is, depending on how that game looks, and they jump us.
If Texas wins out, they would have a win versus A&M, Oklahoma, and Georgia. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that.
No, I just mean in the immediate future.
Oh, okay.
Next
3
weeks. You know what I mean? We're getting jumped.
Well, actually, we'd face them at the same time we face Georgia.
Not true.
So if we were to both beat Bama and Georgia, I think it would be
we'll stay ahead.
Stay right next to each other.
Yeah.
And the thing is about Bama, their schedule is not easy. They have a rivalry game versus LSU. Then they got Oklahoma. Then they got the Iron Bowl in Auburn to end the season off. I know Auburn and LSU are not great football teams. They both fired their head coach, but rivalry games can go either way. So if you're trying to see Bama not in the playoffs, you're gonna be rooting for those teams. Although I like Bama's chances pretty good, but have to wait and see there. I now the question to me: are you rooting for Tech or are you rooting for BYU?
I'm rooting for BYU because I don't think they're as good as Tech.
I agree. And I would rather see BYU in there too. Both their schedules are really easy. Tech after this game has UCF and West Virginia. But I don't know if a 2-loss Big 12 team makes it. That is not in the conference championship.
If they don't win the conference championship, no way.
So that would make it very interesting there. Oregon is an interesting one. They got some tough matchups versus Iowa, USC, I think Washington. Are we rooting against Oregon? I think that would make some sense to probably root against them.
Yeah. I mean, that'll help. Like the only issue is like we would need them to lose really to like both teams are ranked.
Well, if so, they're a 1-loss team now. If they were to hypothetically lose to Washington, that would be good. And then because USC and Iowa, I think, could jump Texas. I'm assuming Texas is 9-3.
I got you. Okay.
I think Texas would stay in front of Washington if they were to beat one of Georgia A&M at 9-3. But I do think Iowa or USC could jump Texas with a win versus Oregon. So
this I don't know because if we lose to Georgia or we lose to A&M, well, I'm put it this way: we would need Oregon to drop 2 games because if they drop 1 and they're a 2-loss team, there's no way we're getting in over
Oregon.
It is not happening.
No, I agree. If Oregon's 2-loss, we're 3-loss team, I agree. But if they were to lose 2 more, if they were to lose to Washington, and then let's say, who does USC have on their schedule the rest of the way? USC has a tough schedule too, by the way. They have Iowa this week. So actually, if Iowa were to beat Oregon and then lose to USC, Texas would be in a good spot. Or if Oregon were to beat Iowa but lose to Washington, USC, and USC lost to Iowa, it kind of works its way out because they all kind of play each other.
Right.
So in a weird way, maybe you're actually rooting for Oregon.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
just to get them out of the way.
We need them to just stay in because if they start dropping the games, it's the team behind us that I'm more worried about jumping us. Like, because if Oregon's already in, right? Like, let's just say, like, they just keep doing, like, cool. I'm worried about if USC just wins out. And now, if Iowa
were to win out, by the way, they would have, and this would be a really interesting conversation here, a 9-3 Texas or a 2-loss Iowa. And Iowa already has 2 losses. They have a 5-point loss to Indiana and a 3-point loss to Iowa State. But they would have recent wins versus a 6th-ranked Oregon and a 20th-ranked USC, Michigan State, and Nebraska.
They would get in over us. That's what I'm saying. I think so too. I need Iowa, USC, Washington, to drop games. Like they have to lose because if not, what you're talking about right now is going to happen, and that's not. To me, that's not conducive to Texas getting a good seed in the playoffs or getting in the playoffs in general as a 3-loss team.
I agree. So right now, we would want Michigan to be Ohio State, Oklahoma to beat Alabama. Yep. Now, if we're a 3-loss team, we obviously want Oklahoma to lose. But if we're a 2-loss team, we'd want Oklahoma to win. We want Oregon probably to win out. We want Florida to beat Ole Miss because then that would make Texas have a great conversation versus Ole Miss. And question would be you probably want if Bama were to lose to Oklahoma, would you want them to lose another one? Or do you think Texas could still get in as a 2-loss team up in front of them?
I mean, I would prefer
Because
them to lose another one because if their losses are because their losses would be similar to ours.
Yeah, because if Bama were to be a 2-loss team, they would have a win versus Georgia, which hypothetically Texas would also have. But Bama would have a ton of ranked wins. They'd have a win versus Missouri, a win versus Tennessee, a win versus Vanderbilt. By the way, they blew out Vanderbilt. They came from behind on us. They would also have a win versus 2 rival games, Auburn and LSU, and their only losses would be a Florida State game in week 1 and Oklahoma. Now the debate would be if Texas is a 2-loss team, they would
beat
say
Oklahoma.
We beat Oklahoma.
Right.
We beat Georgia. We also beat Vanderbilt, and we beat.
We also
A&M.
beat Texas A&M.
That would be tough, right there.
Well, so
frankly, they both make it.
We would get the nod over them because of the A&M win. So we both beat Georgia. They lost to Oklahoma. We beat them, and then LSU, Auburn are in disarray, and then they struggle like they've had their struggles versus South Carolina. They blew out, to your point, they blew out Vanderbilt. Granted, that game was closer than what the score shows.
Yeah, it was more of a fourth quarter barrage.
Yeah, but all that to say that Texas A&M win would carry us over. I think even if both teams get in, I think we would get a better seed. I'm telling you, we need to play one home game in the playoffs.
I agree.
If we can get in that stadium in a night game, anything's possible because I would that would be good for that team. But you talking about going on the road to these hostile places? We don't play well on the road. Let's just put that out there. Like we start slow, we play very, very lackadaisical until start of the fourth quarter. Then we're down 17 points and we make it a game. So I would rather play at home.
So it'll be interesting. So let's say hypothetically Ohio State wins out, Indiana wins out, Texas beats A&M and Georgia.
Okay.
Let's say Ole Miss gets out. Ole Miss messes up and they slip up against Florida. So they're now a 2-loss team. Oklahoma, let's say they lose to Alabama this week. So that way Bama's a 2-loss team, Ole Miss a 2-loss team, Texas a 2-loss team. A&M would have 1 loss. Georgia would have 2 losses. And then who else in the SEC? Vanderbilt, they'd have a hard conversation to get in. Who does Vanderbilt have left? Let me see. Vanderbilt, they lost to Texas, lost to Alabama. I think they lose to Tennessee. Let's just make it fun. Let's say Vanderbilt wins out. Do you think it's possible that every single one of those teams still make it in the top 12?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. Because we would make it because our losses came early enough. You can't lose late. Once the bracket is out, you can't lose.
Oh yeah.
You're done for. You are cooked. Even if you're a Bama team, like Bama, for instance, losing versus Oklahoma does not serve them well. It's you just
not good.
Yeah, it just mess up your argument. So I don't know how many would get in because everything honestly would depend on everything around us. What's going on in the Big 12? Because if Texas Tech and BYU are still rolling, and let's say BYU wins the Big 12 and they're undefeated, they're in. But if Texas Tech is a 2-loss team, now you're having a different conversation. Because now they have 2 losses. One came when a quarterback was hurt, and then the other came versus BYU.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So it's just so many variables into what could possibly happen. But me personally, I would love to see Ole Miss or Notre Dame drop a game because Notre Dame for sure because they already have 2 losses. They drop one more. gone. Ole Miss, they don't have any quality wins.
What I think would be interesting,
they're out.
Would they put in Ole Miss or Notre Dame at that point? Because so right now you're looking at it. If this scenario were to play out, you would have Ohio State as the 1, Indiana as the 2. The winner of the SEC, let's say A&M wins the SEC, they'd be number 3. Then would Texas be number 4? I mean, BYU, if they were undefeated, probably would be 4. Then Texas 5.
5, yeah.
So let's say BYU does win out. They win the Big 12. So it'd be Ohio State, Indiana, A&M wins the SEC, BYU wins the Big 12.
Well, no, because I have a hard time believing that they'll put. Oh no, it'd be Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, BYU.
Yeah,
I think we'll be the top 4 teams.
I think so too.
In that scenario,
but here's another thing too: if Texas is a 2-loss team, but they make it to the SEC championship game and they lose to A&M, then now you're a 3-loss team, but you made it to the conference championship. So do you punish Texas or do you keep them in there? And that could be the same conversation for Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss.
True.
Any of those teams, any of those 1-loss conference teams. So that'll be interesting. I think they would probably keep them in there. That's my thinking.
So you're saying if Texas made it to the SEC championship, like we went out and then we lose in the SEC championship, and that's our 3rd loss, do they keep us? There's no way they keep us out. Isn't it? You can't justify it because we either lost to a team that we already beat, so we split, or we lost to Bama, and they're probably at that point the 3rd or 4th, but still the 3rd or 4th best team in the country. Like you can't so 2 of our 3 losses came versus 2 top 4 teams.
Yeah, and you made it to your conference championship, so you played an extra game, and it was. So I don't think they would either. So Ohio State, Indiana, A&M. Let's say A&M makes it in, Texas makes it in there too, but they're now a 3-loss SEC runner-up. 4 would be BYU. We're assuming they win out. 5 would be.
How they seed it would be everything. Because now, are we talking about Oregon winning out and beating a ranked USC team?
I don't think Oregon wins out. I think Oregon loses at least 1. So that because then you're looking at this huge clump of 2-loss teams and a 3-loss SEC runner-up Texas.
Right.
Because we're assuming Bama slips up and they lose 1 more. Georgia loses to Texas. Ole Miss slips up versus Florida.
Iowa, Minnesota, USC, Washington.
This is crazy. I mean, this could be really interesting the rest of the way. Just kind of when you set up this scenario of where Texas would be at, I think Texas would probably be somewhere between 7 to 8, but I do think Texas would be in.
We would have to make it to the SEC championship. Like that's just
if you're gonna be a 3-loss team, you got to make your championship game
and lose your 3rd game in the championship.
But if Texas were to go 9-3, I don't think there's a path. Your path would be to get in at number 12. That's going to be very difficult to get in, or 11 with Memphis potentially being that 12.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a 3-loss team, you got to hope Bama. I mean, you got to hope Bama wins. You got to hope Georgia slips up again. First, you would have to hope Georgia loses Georgia Tech and that Texas were to beat them. Because then Georgia would also be a 3-loss team with losses to Tech, Bama, and Texas.
True.
Notre Dame, you'd want Notre Dame to lose, but they don't have anything on their schedule. So you just have to hope they just somehow get crazy upset against them. And then you'd probably want BYU to win out for Tech to lose 2 games. And then Texas has the argument that Tech hasn't played nobody.
Yeah.
Utah would be tough. Ole Miss would have to lose at least 1 or 2. It would take basically what we're saying, Texas has to win out.
Yeah, like we got to take care of business because if we do that, like I don't care what happens around us, we're in. We make it to the SEC championship. No matter what happens in that game, I still think we're in because you can't justify.
He wants 3 Texas teams to get in and rest of nation house. Oh gosh, that'd be insane if you had all 3 Texas teams: Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and Texas in there.
Texas get in. It can happen though.
That's really could.
If Texas A&M only lost is to Texas, and then we play them again and they beat us, we're both getting in.
Yeah, even if Texas doesn't make it, let's say Texas, let's say Georgia gets in, or Bama. Let's go Bama gets in.
Yeah.
Texas would still be a 2-loss team, and depending on what side of the bracket you're in, you could just face them up right again.
Yeah, exactly.
SEC needs Notre Dame to lose, or the committee's ACC folks to swallow pride and only take one ACC team for SEC to get 4 teams.
Four teams.
I mean,
I don't think they take more than one ACC team. I don't think they can.
Because Miami has looked terrible lately.
My God. Virginia, I mean, they look the best right now, but Louisville's right there.
The thing about Virginia that's funny is they do have a loss to an in-conference team, but it doesn't count because of scheduling.
Okay, how the hell does that? I heard that yesterday or today, and I'm like, I know the ACC very well. That's where I'm from, like that part of the country. So how does that not count as a conference loss? It's NC State. They're in the ACC. It's the same conference, like different divisions. If they still do the Coastal and the Atlantic, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
If they still do divisions, then okay. But outside of that, that is a conference loss. Like they're undefeated in the conference play. Like, yeah, I need someone to deep dive and explain that shit to me. Excuse my French.
I'll tell you this right now. I have a hard time seeing the ACC getting 2 teams in. I think
the only way is if Georgia Tech goes and beat Georgia. Because if Georgia Tech beats Georgia and they play Virginia in the ACC championship, both teams' only loss came to NC State. So
yeah, that would be a path.
So now you're talking about ACC champion and then a team that's what, top 14, 15 maybe, or let's say they're 11. How do you leave them out? Because they did everything that Texas did and still have 2 losses. But the issue that works against them, whereas I think you're right, they don't beat anybody.
They haven't played nobody.
But
they would only have 1 loss. And Virginia would only have 1 in-conference loss, quote unquote.
Think about that. So Georgia Tech wins out. They have 1 loss. They make it to the championship game. Virginia makes it. Virginia technically has 1 loss, but no conference loss. If Georgia Tech beats Virginia, that's the only conference loss. So they're both, one's a 2-loss team, one's a 1-loss. Like now,
I think the 2-loss teams. I still think the 2-loss team probably gets kicked out. I think they'd be the first one out. I think now it would depend on how many teams in the SEC are 2 losses.
2-loss teams. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if Texas wins out, they're in. If Oklahoma wins out, they're going to be in. If Bama wins, it loses another game, but there's 2-loss teams. Same with Georgia. They're both in. I think Ole Miss is a 2-loss team, has a better conversation over a 2-loss Virginia. So, in my opinion, the committee made up of folks from all these conferences. They all want their conference to stay relevant and let in 2 Big 12s and 2 ACCs every season, no matter what. And then, of course, Notre Dame fouls it up.
I don't necessarily disagree. I don't. And to me, that's the issue with the committee. Like, FBS football should do what FCS football does. That's the best playoff system in football. The best, because now it's I want to say it's 16 and then the first 8 get buys. So now you're talking about your conference champions and probably your conference runner-ups. They get bye weeks. And then they get to host a playoff game. And then it goes into the bowl game stuff. But the FCS playoff setup, it prevents the committee bias to me. And you just got to go win the games you're supposed to win, because now it doesn't matter. Like now, because there's so many slots, like these games matter, but they matter more because of seeding and home field advantage now. Yeah, which is what I would more so love than the actual like the bowl game stuff. But I get it, the TV sponsors and all that. But like we want like real good like college football. Dude, just do what has been work. They literally been doing this for like 50, 60 years, and it works. Open up the bracket. These are the requirements for a at-large bid. These are the requirements for a conference championship. Like this is what you're up against. Highest seed, lowest seed host the playoff game and ride it out.
It is very interesting. Let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think about the college football poll, and who you got Texas rooting for and rooting against? All right, B. Ross, you got anything you want to bring to the table before we end this thing?
I'm glad it's a bye week.
Me too.
I'm glad we get to come down off that high, off a good win, off a really good win, and get healthy, refocus, and we get 2 weeks to plan for Georgia. I love that. We get to roll out something new. We get healthy. We get maybe a healthier CJ Baxter, a healthier Trey Wisner, a healthier Arch, which granted, concussion Arch is like a baller. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
just saying.
He said it himself.
I'm just saying, like, that was like he's playing better and better. So yeah, I'm encouraged, and I'm really encouraged because I think Georgia's defense is trash. Now that the offense scares me because I don't think Gunnar Stockton anything special. I think he's a gamer though. I think he's a baller when it matters most, and that's what scares me because Pavia is not Stockton. If Georgia gets down, they've been down all year. They're used to it. So I'm happy we have a bye week to get healthy, and I just hope we're doing all the right things to give ourselves the advantage to win this big game.
Yeah, big time win. Temple Bruto says, peace, when's the next stream? So right now, every Tuesday, we do Texas Primetime, me and B. Ross. Every Saturday, we do a post-game reaction. So after the Georgia game, next week, we'll do a post-game reaction. And on Mondays, you guys can watch Gerald and Matthew do Texas Longhorns live. And they do a great job over there. So you guys check it out. Y'all gonna TN that Stockton. UTI has way better defense and sack stats. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun game, but make sure you guys check us out on our own social medias. B Ross has TikTok, IG, all that stuff at 1B.Ross. And you guys can follow me on YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter at Metro Sports YT. If you're into NFL content, that's usually what I talk about. But with all that said, we appreciate everything, you guys. Appreciate all you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys for being here. Per usual, it's always horns up. Hook 'em.